Welcome into another edition of the Troy Brown Show, presented by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. It is Labor Day as we tape this, so hope you are having a great end of your Labor Day weekend. Hope you have a great week as you get ready for another weekend of college football. Ole Miss beats Troy in its opener, 28-10. Not that Troy, a different Troy. They beat Troy. They'll play Central Arkansas Saturday at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. That game at 6 o'clock. If you're not making the game, it's on ESPN Plus or in some places the SEC Network on a busy day in the SEC. I'm Neil McCready. Troy Brown with me here today as well. Troy, how are you?
I'm feeling good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking some time. We were just talking before we got started. For people that don't know, we had to kind of adjust things for completely out of our control. They changed practice schedules. Practice went long, things like that. It happens, but we're getting this together and getting this show to you. It's a show that is brought to you each and every week by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, but it's the same great products. It's the same great services. It's the same people. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or that area, you want to call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, DeSoto County, those areas, get in touch with the people at Southern, 662-429-4429. All right. I don't even know where to start. I think I want to start here. I want to get to some of the first and stuff in a minute because I know this was a whole new experience for you, and you were excited about your first game day experience. But I actually kind of want to start on the field if we can, because going into the season, people have been like, Mrs. Linebackers kind of might be the liability. They lost a couple of really good players, and they did. We talked about Mark Robinson making the Steelers, Chance Campbell making the Titans. Chance was at the game on Saturday. I saw him. But you guys, y'all delivered on Saturday. You had 10 tackles. I might be off one. I think you had 10. Kari Coleman had 11, had a huge game, 5 stops behind the line of scrimmage. Linebacker was not a liability for Ole Miss on Saturday, which had to feel kind of vindicating to you and had to feel pretty good, I'm guessing.
I felt great. Correction, I did have 11.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to short you.
That was our mindset going in. Play physical, play fast, play free. And we really showed that there were some mistakes on our side, but we fixed it. We adjusted well, and for it to be our first time going out as a unit, we answered some of those questions.
Yeah, you and Kari seemed to play really well together, which, like you said, it was your first time. I mean, you guys were in different programs last year. He was in the Big 12, you were in the MAC, and you guys get together. And I know you've had a lot of practice and stuff, but still, it was the first game together. It looked like it was pretty seamless.
Yeah, man. Just rotating in and out with him, Keys, and me and Shawnee. We just try to keep a solid base, no matter which, 4 is in. We just want to produce at a high level. Whenever the players come to us, we have to make them. And whenever there's chances to be superstars, we have to take those opportunities and step outside the box and be players. So we're just answering, questions and playing to the level that our coach feels like we can. So it's nothing new to us. It's just that we're now showcasing it for everybody else to see.
So let's talk about some first. Your first SEC game in an SEC uniform. I know you'd played in a couple SEC stadiums before, but this was your first time to be an Ole Miss Rebel on the field in front of your home crowd, all that stuff. What was the day like for you on Saturday? I know you had family there and there was a lot going on. Take me through it.
And it was crazy. The experience of the Walk of Champions was so surreal. I shook every hand I possibly could. There were kids sticking their hands through the gate. It was surreal to feel that way. So I wanted to give the love back to each and every person that showed up and created that experience. So off the field, it was quiet. There's like always the quiet before the storm, but in my head, I'm like a little kid experiencing. Like my first day of college football, right? Like I never had a day like this, and for it to be in an SEC uniform and an SEC place, it was really exciting, and I'm glad that I was able to experience that in my life.
I know some people kind of take that for granted after a while. They see it. And this isn't a criticism of Central Michigan or of anybody in the MAC, but how different was that arriving to get ready to go walk to the stadium and play than maybe when played a home game at Central Michigan?
I mean, CMU fans, they love the community and everything, but it's just that the loyalty that Ole Miss fans bring. I mean, it was just like I said, there was little kids straining, almost like they're trying to put their whole arm through the gate just to shake your hand. So I'm like, man, like that's an impact. Even though they don't know me and I really don't know them, I just know that they look up to me as a person, and as what I do. So it's just amazing to feel that way and just to see so many people out there. There were, I mean, people of all age, all shapes, all colors. Even a old. I shook a hand. Sorry, I don't want to call her old, but a old lady. Uh, she even had her walker, like even on the side. She stuck out her hand, shaking all the players' hands. So I'm like, man, this.
Yeah, it's the just volume of people that guys always talk about when you look at the bus, and it's just, I guess you're elevated, so you just see people's heads and you just see so many people.
Yeah, I was shocked. I'm like, because I mean, not everybody is going to get up to the gate to see them. So it's just like that. That's just loyalty right there. Because some people will just be like, hey, if I'm not there early, I'm not going to be able to get there or shake their hands or, I mean, actually see people. But there were people everywhere.
I know after the game, you were one of the guys that came into the media room. You talked about being pretty pleased with the way you guys started the game, maybe not quite as pleased with the way you guys finished it. Now that you've had a chance to look at the film and that kind of thing, is it still kind of the same assessment?
Definitely, you can definitely tell two halves of the way we played. You can tell that we wore down a little bit at the end. But that's great for us to see. That now we know we have to keep straining, keep going back and put more in the tank so we can last longer. Maybe go back and correct and I mean do some subs this way and that way to keep legs and stuff like that. So we're just happy we saw that, and now we got to go back and find ways to correct it.
How hard is it to stay as intense into a game, play for play, when it's one thing when it's 0-0 or 7-0, when it's 28-3, and you're human, you're winning the game. Is it difficult to keep that intensity up over the course of four quarters?
I mean, yeah, even if you're on the losing side, it's hard to keep that mindset that we have this possibility of coming back and also winning this game. But when you're winning, it's even harder because you're like, I mean, it's hard to lose like this. But um, I don't necessarily think of it in that sense. But whenever I'm out there on the field, I know that I can't put anything bad on tape. So it doesn't matter whether I'm feeling like I'm going to lose or whether I'm feeling like I'm going to win. Every play you go out there, when the ball snaps, you have to go 100%.
Central Arkansas comes to town Saturday. What's the not plan or any of that stuff, but what's just kind of the thing that you guys as a defense want to get better at this week?
Our subs, cleaning that up, cleaning our movements, our reads. These guys like to do things that I mean we haven't seen yet, so we have to pay a little more attention to that, and just play our game. Really, everybody has to go out there and play loose. I think last game, some people were a little tight than others because of the experience and because of, I mean, them being in a different position. But with one under their belt, I feel like everybody's going to go out and just have fun. And, I mean, it's going to be another good game.
I know your family was in town. How cool was that for them to get to see you play on this stage at this level and to play as well as you did?
And it was amazing. I heard that people got to see my kids on the jumbotron and stuff like that, and it's like I've never gotten that, but now like the whole world see my babies on TV, and it's just like wow, like I'm doing. But I'm sorry, just speechless.
No, it's cool. That's one of the things I enjoyed talking about them with you. It's you you light up in a different way. And I get it. As a dad, I completely understand, man. When someone says talk about your kids, I could just talk and talk and talk. So I completely get that. I think it's cool. All right, let's get to business here. Week one, we both went 4-3 in the MAC. You started hot, didn't finish quite as well. I was the opposite. I got off to a really bad start, and I thought this was a bad idea, but I closed okay. So we're even. We're 4-3. Going into week two in the MAC, your Central Michigan bailed you out because they were way behind, and they came back and covered that line in Stillwater. I was feeling good about that game, and then I looked up. I'm like, what happened? All right, let's touch on a few of these. Have a little fun with them. Ohio State is at Penn State, Troy. Ohio State's a 24, no, Ohio State, Ohio, the Bobcats, 24.5-point underdog at Penn State. I'm guessing that's a pretty big game for those guys on the Ohio roster. They're going to be geeked up to have a shot at Penn State. 24.5. Is that number too big?
Penn State. Nah, I'm gonna give them. Yeah, I'm gonna give them less than 24.
All right, so you're gonna take Ohio.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Ohio.
All right, I think I am too. We're gonna be there. All right, your guys. South Alabama goes to Central Michigan. I guess it's the home opener for your former team. A good friend of mine, Kane Womack, is the head coach at South Alabama. So this is a big game for both teams. It's a noon start, so you'll know the result of this by the time you take the field on Saturday night at Vaught Hemingway. What do you think? Central Michigan -4.5 against South Alabama.
+7.
So you think Central Michigan wins?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're going to take them. I'm going to go with my friend Kane. I'll take South Alabama. So we'll have a difference here. Western Michigan is a 7-point favorite at Ball State in a MAC game. You ever play at Ball State?
Played at Ball State.
Anything, you remember anything about playing at Ball State?
Oh, that's literally my favorite game ever as a player.
Tell me about
it. Losing by double digits at half. It was going bad for us. We came back, ended up winning by I believe like 1 or 3, and I got the game sealing pick.
Oh,
so
that is
by far. It was a sweet game, and it was a night game, so it was sweet. But I give it to Ball State.
Right, I like so you're going to take Ball State and the points. I'm going to take Western Michigan, and I'm going to lay those points. All right, let's see. Looking for, we'll take these last two here. We'll do 5 this week. Northern Illinois, 5.5-point underdog at Tulsa, a Tulsa team that you guys will see a little later in September. So Northern Illinois goes to Tulsa. Northern Illinois has been playing pretty well as a program the last handful of years. What do you think getting 5.5 at Tulsa?
I have them beating Tulsa.
All right. So you and I both are going to take Northern Illinois straight up, not just the points, but Northern Illinois beating Tulsa on the road at Tulsa. All right, last one. This one's in Lafayette, Louisiana. It's actually televised on the NFL Network on Saturday night at 6 o'clock. Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan's a 10.5-point underdog at Louisiana Lafayette. Most people call them Louisiana. As a Louisianian, I refuse to do that. I call them Louisiana Lafayette.
Losing, I don't. Let's say they lose. Okay.
Because Eastern Michigan's your rival, right? You don't like them.
I don't like them, but they're not the worst.
Who do you hate more, Western or Eastern?
I hate Eastern more because they talk too crazy. Like they don't stop talking, and it's just like it's irritating. But yeah, I have them losing, but I say it's a tighter game, like 3-3.
Okay, so Troy's going to take Eastern Michigan and the points. I'm going to take the Raging Cajuns. I'll lay the 10.5 and see what happens there as they get going there at trying to think of the name of that field. You think I'd know it. The basketball arena is called the Cajun Dome. I can't think of the name of the football stadium, but they're on the campus at Louisiana Lafayette. We'll wrap up in just a second, but first, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when faced with the challenge in life. But when you learn how to find your own solutions, there's no better feeling. A therapist can help make you a better problem solver. making it easier for you to accomplish your goals, no matter how big, no matter how small. I've used therapy as a way to handle stress, clear negative thoughts. It was a life changer for me. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp's a great option. It's convenient, it's accessible, it's affordable, it's entirely online. Get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey. Switch therapist anytime. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/MPW. All right, Troy, as we start to wrap up, NFL season starts on Thursday. Who's your team? Who's your pick for the Super Bowl as we get started? Because the next time we reconvene, everyone will have played a game.
I'm gonna give it to the Bengals. I don't really like them, but I'm gonna give it to the Bengals. It's just hard too. I mean, it's hard not to. They have a really solid group.
Yeah, from your mouth to God's ears, that would be awesome. I'd love to see that. I'm going. I think I did it in my weekly column. I went Bills over the Packers in the Super Bowl. I went. It feels like it's Buffalo's time. Like it just kind of.
Could be.
Do you watch a lot of NFL?
I do, but I more so watch for people, not necessarily all the games. So when my favorite players come on, I try to tune into those games, definitely.
You watching mostly linebacker play, or you just have favorite guys that you like to watch?
Mostly linebacker play. Like the best, like sports. When the Colts come on, I'm tuned in. Seahawks. I try to catch as many of those as possible. But yeah, I just like to look for guys and like to see them like play full games and that, and just see them, because on the film and whenever you go look it up, you can't really find. I mean, what they're doing in between plays or the small things that they do. They cut stuff out. So I try to see full games of people that I like to play like.
Is it different going into week 2 now that you've played a game? Is some of the first and stuff are out? You start to get into a little bit of a routine now. Is that kind of a natural thing to happen, or is it all just go so fast that it's hard to articulate it?
Well, kind of transitioning from the fall camp routine and stuff like that, and then going into game routines is it's kind of hard, especially coming off a real game. You haven't played the real game, so you haven't got to feel all the real nicks and bruises. So I have to get back on top of my body probably even harder than I did in fall camp. So it's just it's a little adjusting, but I'm gonna get there.
How sick of the heat are you? Are you tired of it yet? I'm sick of it. I've lived in it all of my life. I'm ready for fall to roll around, dude.
Like people were kind of mad at me because I was like, man, today's not really hot. Like, man, it gets way hotter than this, but I didn't feel that hot this game. I really didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked hot on the field. I saw that a lot of the students bailed out of there in the second half. It was the sun was right in their face. They were like, enough. It's time to go.
Probably a different case. And then when I go sit down, I got a fan with water blowing on me and stuff. So it's probably
That's a perk, yeah, for sure. They didn't have those in the they probably had a little bit different things to drink than you had by the second half of that game. I'm gonna guess. I guess they were drinking a little bit more than water or Gatorade or whatever it is that you were consuming on the bench. That's just it's an educated guess on my part. All right, we're out there. Appreciate Troy always for his time. Don't forget, we're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Same great products, same great services. Get in touch with them at Comer, at Southern. Make sure that you tell them how much you appreciate them making the Troy Brown Show possible. Troy, thanks so much for the time. As always, look forward to talking to you next week.
Sure.
That does it for the Troy Brown Show, presented by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. I'm Neil McCready. That's Troy Brown. We'll talk to you again next week.